Hello, hello, Sarah of SEK Handmade here, and today we're going to talk about adding a single crochet border around your finished projects. I don't know about you, but I love the finished touch that adding a single crochet border around the edge of my projects gives to them. It just adds a really uniform look and a beautiful polished finish to the edges. It's super simple and you can do it with any project. I'm going to show you how. Let's go. All right, there are several reasons you could want to put an edging around a piece. You could be adding the edging to seam things together. If that is the case, you are going to want to put the same number of stitches down an edge on the two pieces that you're seaming together. That's going to make it real easy to just seam those stitches one for one. So the reason you're putting your edge on is to make a seam, important that you get the same number of stitches on both pieces. If you are working an edge to add ribbing to a sweater, especially if that ribbing has a button band, you're going to want to be accurate about the number of stitches and make sure that you're working them evenly. If you are working this edging just to put a nice finish on the edge of a project, which is one of my favorite things to do, then the most important thing about that is that it looks nice. Some patterns will give you very specific instructions about working down the side and exactly how many stitches you should put in each row end. Friends, if you do that and it doesn't look nice, and the whole purpose of this is for it to look nice, throw those instructions out the window a little bit and play around until you get a really nice, flat, beautiful edge. That is what is most important if your goal is just a nice edge. Now, general recommendations for this from my experience would be, I have a treble crochet here. And so I'm going to work 3 stitches around that last treble crochet to finish them off. I have found that 3 or 4 stitches around a treble crochet is usually pretty good. Now, don't judge when you very first get it in there. Don't judge that too much. They can kind of bunch up on each other and you can think, ooh, I need 4, maybe 5 there. And if it gets out of hand and you get too much, especially on an open fabric like this, you're going to end up with a little bump there, and we don't want that either. We want a nice straight edge. So I have found that 3 stitches on the edge of a treble crochet works well. This is a type of single crochet and row, and so I find 1 stitch in a single crochet row works well. Typically 1 stitch in a half double crochet row works great as well. And then I have another single crochet row, so I'm going to add 1 stitch in there as well. If you have a pattern that has rows of double crochets, I find 2 or 3 stitches to work best with double crochets. Again, these are treble crochets, so I'm going to go ahead and work 3 single crochets around them, and then with my single crochet rows and my half double crochet rows, I'm just going to work 1 stitch in each end because I find that that's about equal to the height of that row. Again, consistency, if you're doing this just for a nice finished edge, consistency of placement and number of stitches in each row end is really the very most important thing. I do want to show you when we get to this corner here, you do need an extra stitch to kind of straddle that corner. So I'm going to work in the end of my final row here. I'm going to work another stitch in the end to turn the corner, and now I'm going to work in the end of each of my stitches. Now, I work in the back bump when I start my work, and so you can see I already have a nice row of stitches there. If you wanted to, you could simply cut your work, weave in your ends, and just start again going down the other side. I prefer fewer ends to weave in, and so I like to just work back across that bottom again. It does not add much bulk to your project, and so I just work back into those stitches. Again, it makes a really nice edging that matches all the way around. Then you can see that extra stitch in the corner made that turn really nicely for me. I will work down the bottom, turn my corner again with that extra stitch, and work all the way back along, and then I will have a nice edging all the way around my headband. If you like the stitches in this pattern specifically, I will link to it below so you can check it out, as well as any other patterns that I think adding a nice edge to this, like this, might be helpful too as well. So be sure to check out the description. And that is how you add a single crochet border to almost any project. This is great not only for seaming, but also just for a really beautiful finished look to any project. I hope that you remember that this is about something looking nice, not necessarily about accuracy and perfection, especially if you're just adding it to a project to get a nice finished look to those edges. As always, it is my goal to help you grow confidently in your craft. I hope I have done that today. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. Lots more tutorials coming. Like this video, share it with a friend, and check the description below for other tips and tutorials and videos that you might find helpful. Thank you again for joining me today, and happy crafting!